Hello and welcome to League of Legends News, Evil Edition. I am your host, Evil Johnson, Incorporated, that is, and I will be with you today to read off the scores and the week and what happened this week in the League of Legends. I'd like to start out with a simple topic, and that is the state of Evil Johnson Incorporated. I'd like to take this to you, Mr. Evil Smith. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. This is Evil Smith here, and I'm here to present the weekly findings of Evil Johnson Inc. Today they added another acquisition based on their weeks of the Champs of Joshua Queering. They did not perform well this week, and they were easily defeated, and that brings the acquisition score up to 3. This is the same amount of wins as the Frog Force had last year. Let's just say the rebrand of Evil Johnson Inc. has gone nothing but well so far this year. Back to you, Evil Johnson. Thank you, Evil Smith. We look to see more findings in the future from you and the future of Evil Johnson Incorporated. Next, we'll move into the scores of the week, presented by Evil Borisnikov. Thank you very much, Evil Johnson. This is Evil Borisnikov, and I am here to present other scores of teams around the league. First of all, we had not just Evil Johnson defeating Joshua Queering, but we also had Michael Lawrence, who had a large defeat on Sunday. He was not just defeated by a weak team, he was defeated by the second weakest team. No one likes Mr. Gavin Allard. He is not good team, everybody knows. Unfortunately, he gained win this week. We also had upset from Mr. Ryan Arndt over Owen Moore. This was not seen coming, as nobody thought Kareem Hunt was going to do anything good, but clearly he proved us all wrong. We also had the upset of Cohen Martin over Eric Klassen. Eric Klassen, not good team, but got very lucky during draft with no one steal. Also got very lucky during last couple weeks is Cohen Martin, who has turned around season from being very worst to very good. Lastly, we had the matchup between the undefeated team and the most defeated team. Let's just say the Ski Bums are looking for an 0-5 start, and the Brock Purdy fan club is looking for a 5-0 start. Brock Purdy would come out victorious, as we all expected, with not just Benjamin B. Burton losing, but losing his main wide receiver, Rashee Rice, for the rest of the season. Thank you. Back to you, Evil Johnson. Thank you, Evil Borisnikov. That was a great summary of the week. I'd like to move on now to my Evil Awards, presented by Evil Cletus. Thanks so much, Evil Johnson, and I'll get right to them awards. First of all, we have the biggest loser of the week, Michael Lawrence. Lost to a team that was previously 1-3, and lost his previously undefeated start, and now has a 2-loss streak. Next, we have our winner of the week, Cohen Martin. I'd like to give you a nice round of applause for your great work. No one thought you were going to make it this far. No one thought you were going to get more than about 3 wins this season. And same thing happened last year, and we saw what happened. So we'll see what happens with him. Next, I have my swing pick of the week, Benjamin B. Burton. He made a large trade this week, and I don't think it was a very good trade. I'm being told it was a good trade, but I know that Christian McCaffrey is coming back as soon as week 7. He was fleeced once again. Lastly, I have my Evil Award, and that would go to Mr. Ryan Arndt. The Evil Award signifies doing something truly evil that only someone like Evil Johnson would do. He did not just play against a team missing a running back, but he also fleeced the poor, Benjamin B. Burton. Thank you. Back to you, Evil Johnson. Thanks, Evil Cletus. That was a great presentation of awards. I'd like to move on to our next week's matchups, of which there are many. First of all, we have Evil Johnson versus the receiver of the Evil Award this week, Ryan Arndt. This will be a good matchup, and I think that Personally, with no bias, Evil Johnson will win, and he will kill Orca Games. The business battle's not going to go well for him. Our next one, we have Joshua Clearing versus Cohen Martin, which should be a good week. Both teams have sort of underperformed at the start and are starting to come back. One of these teams has came back a lot more, and one of them just got beaten by Evil Johnson. So, I mean, we'll see. We also have Michael Lawrence and Eric Klassen. Should be a good fight. Eric, I'd say, is the better team. He's projected less, but I think that's just because Eric is a dumbass. And Michael Lawrence seems to actually set his lineups as opposed to Eric. So we also have Gavin versus Ben. This is the real toilet bowl of the week. I think both teams might lose, actually. I think both teams will lose. That's just the most common thing to say here. I don't know what else I can say about these two teams that hasn't been said. They're both ass, and there's nothing that either of them can do about it because they're both ass and neither of them make good trades. Lastly, we have Owen Moore and Evan Lenzen. This should also be a very good matchup, as both these teams were previously undefeated and one still is undefeated. But I think that Owen has a much better chance this week if he actually plays his running backs. Thank you for watching Evil News, and we will be back to you next week with a new edition.
Wow!